Hey guys, it's Tim, and this is PWU Daily for March 27th, 2019. This is our Monday through Friday news show where we bring you a bunch of news in one condensed video. We run down a number of topics from the previous 24 hours, and then we bring you some newer topics that you may not have heard of. The show will air every Monday through Friday right here on the PWU Unlimited YouTube channel at roughly 11 a.m. Pacific. Now, this show is airing today at 11:30 because I had some things that I had to get taken care of at my kid's school today, but it's all good. 11:30, only a half an hour difference. We're good to go. And before we get going, this week's sponsor is Insight Editions. Insight Editions, they're the makers of the WWE's new cookbook and the WWE Pop Quiz Trivia Deck. With the WWE's new cookbook, you have a lot, and I mean a lot, of different recipes you can try to recreate. There's beverages, there's main dishes, side dishes, snacks and treats. I mean, you've got stuff like salsa banks, Kevin Cauliflower Nash, Bailey's Chicken Huggets, and even Ric Flair's Woo-Pie Pies as well. With the WWE Pop Quiz Trivia Deck, you got this deck of cards, kind of like a deck of cards, I guess, all put together in a nice little sleeve. Over 195 different questions, and you can use them to try and stump your friends. We're going to use them next week in a live stream over WrestleMania weekend for you guys to have an opportunity to win some prizes. So with that, I also want to say that this show, it's going to be an ever-growing show, like I've said all week. I want to hear the feedback from you guys. What do you like that I'm doing? What do you don't like that I'm doing? What are some things you don't want to see me do that I haven't done yet? You're like, I've seen others do it. I don't like it. Please don't implement this. One thing that I do want to start implementing, possibly in the next week or two, is you guys submitting a question or two. Every day I answer that question, and we go from there. Just another element we can add to this to grow this into a cool morning show here on the Pro Wrestling Unlimited YouTube channel. So now with that, talking about morning, let's talk about the last 24 hours. We had some news come out over the last 24 hours. Not a lot of big news, but we did learn that JoJo is going to be, let me reiterate that. JoJo Offerman, the former Raw ring announcer, announced on Instagram yesterday that her and Bray Wyatt are expecting their first child together. The child is due in June, and the name is Nash. That explains why JoJo's been gone. Congratulations to both of them, really. We did talk about yesterday. Our main story from yesterday was Flip Gordon. Flip Gordon re-injured his knee. We still haven't heard what the prognosis is from that doctor's appointment he was supposed to go to, I think, on Tuesday. He was pulled from this Sunday's ROH event, and it doesn't look likely that he's going to be back in the foreseeable future. Next up, we heard yesterday that Vince McMahon sold over 3 million shares of WWE stock, equating over roughly $270 million. This money will be going to his Alpha Entertainment company to fund the XFL. I guess they need more money over there. Also, if you haven't seen it yet, on last night's NXT, we had the finals of the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and we did see Aleister Black and Ricochet victorious over the Forgotten Sons. With them being victorious in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, they will now move on to NXT TakeOver New York on April 5th. And they will challenge the War Raiders for the NXT Tag Team Championships. I think that match is going to be really good. So that's just some of the bigger news notes that you may or may not have seen over the last 24 hours. But now, what do we got today? We've got 4 items up on the docket for you today. And the first one has to do with All Elite Wrestling and All In 2. So the big thing right now with AEW is, how will their first show look? How will their first show run? Many are trying to state that, well, All In was a good show. All In looked good. Their show can't be any worse, and we don't know that. We don't expect it to be any worse, but the production side of All In had a lot of help from Ring of Honor, and they ain't getting that anymore. Now, we do know that Double or Nothing is on May 25th. Fight for the Fallen is on July 13th. And we may now know when All In 2 is going to take place based off of what Dave Meltzer wrote in this week's Wrestling Observer newsletter. Meltzer wrote the following. The Labor Day weekend All In 2, as it's been being called, will be on August 31st, back at the Sears Center in Hoffman Estates, Illinois. That was hinted on being the Elite the last time the Young Bucks went to Chicago, and they showed the plaque in front of the arena, which talked about All In. It was known all along it would be in Chicago, just a question as to what building. It sold out the Sears Center instantly last year, and the Allstate Arena, that's WWE's main venue. It's a larger building, and the United Center is a lot larger. In theory, it should be harder to draw for a traveling fan show when they've just already done Las Vegas this year. Although, lots of theories about what draws tickets and money has been blown out of the water already. So with this, Dave Meltzer is reporting that All In 2 will be taking place from the Sears Center in Chicago, Illinois, well, technically neighboring city of Chicago, Hoffman Estates, Illinois, on August 31st. They do, like I said, already have 2 shows scheduled for before that. So this will be, I guess you could say, the 3rd show, and it may be their quote-unquote WrestleMania type show. Because we had the All In last year, and now if we're getting All In 2, maybe All In 2 is going to be their big WrestleMania or their big Wrestle Kingdom anniversary kind of show, if that makes any sense. So there's not much more to say about this topic, because so far out, the All Elite Wrestling people have not officially announced it themselves, but with Meltzer putting this news in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, it's only a matter of time before they jump ahead and maybe do announce something in the next couple of weeks or at Double or Nothing on May 25th. So again, if you guys, sorry about that. All Elite Wrestling holding All In 2 August 31st. And it's going to be interesting to see how similar it is to the first All In, how different it is to the first All In, and we may get hints of that, or even before a Double or Nothing and a Fight for the Fallen. And moving forward with our next topic, it has to do with next week's WrestleMania weekend. So we know WrestleMania AXXESS is going to hold a lot of different wrestling events at WrestleMania AXXESS. They did announce that WrestleMania AXXESS is taking place in, I want to say it's called Pier 12 in Brooklyn, New York, and today WWE announced a number of matchups over the, I want to say, 5-day event. So WWE announced that at WrestleMania AXXESS, worlds will collide when NXT, NXT UK, and former NXT, now main roster stars, compete over the 5-day event. On Thursday, April 4th, it's being branded as NXT versus NXT alumni. We will see the following matches in Roderick Strong versus Tyler Breeze, Dominik Dijakovic versus Harper, Sanity versus the Undisputed Era, and we don't know what version of Undisputed Era that is, whether that's Roderick Strong, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish, or since Roderick Strong's already wrestling Tyler Breeze, if it's not Roderick Strong and it's Adam Cole instead. And finally, the last announced match for April 4th, that Thursday, is Cassius Ohno versus Aiden English. Moving forward to Friday, April 5th, it's all about the cruiserweights. We got Tyler Breeze taking on the Brian Kendrick. We've got Akira Tozawa taking on Jordan Devlin. Flash Morgan Webster and Mark Andrews will be taking on the team of Akira Tozawa, Arya Davari, and Mike Kanellis. And finally, Albert Hardy Jr., the former ACH, will be going up against Grand Metalik. On Saturday, April 6th, they will be holding NXT UK television tapings. On Sunday, April 7th, the day of WrestleMania, they will actually hold 2 20-man battle royals at NXT AXXESS. And to wrap it all up, on Monday, April 8th, they're stating women will collide. We will see Io Shirai taking on Sonya Deville. Toni Storm will be taking on Nikki Cross. Piper Niven will be taking on Zelina Vega. And Candice LeRae will go one-on-one with Kaylee Ray. Now, they're branding this as a Worlds Collide. NXT, NXT UK, and former NXT stars, but we don't know if this is going to be similar to Royal Rumble AXXESS, where they actually held a Worlds Collide tournament. If you remember at Royal Rumble AXXESS, they held the Worlds Collide tournament where the winner ultimately got a title shot of his choosing. Velveteen Dream went on to challenge Johnny Gargano for the NXT North American Championship and was victorious in winning that title. So whether they are doing an actual Worlds Collide tournament or not, it doesn't look the case, but it just looks like that's what they're branding WrestleMania AXXESS and the, I guess you could say, matches, the live matches that will be taking place. So going forward, speaking of NXT, we may have some NXT spoilers for you guys as far as NXT TakeOver New York goes. Now, if you don't want to read spoilers, click off this video now for a couple of minutes. There will be time codes in the description below if you do want to go forward and you don't want to hear these spoilers. So, 3, 2, 1, spoilers. Couldn't find the camera there. So this year, NXT TakeOver New York will be held on April 5th from the Barclays Center. The NXT title will be on the line when Johnny Gargano goes up against Adam Cole in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the vacant NXT Championship. Also, we do know that the Velveteen Dream will be defending the NXT North American Championship against Matt Riddle. Now, based on local advertising for an April 28th NXT live event in Minnesota, we could know who's coming out victorious in both of these title matches. So as of right now, they are advertising a champion versus champion match at this live event where we would see Adam Cole taking on the Velveteen Dream. Now, if this is the case and this does come to fruition, that means Adam Cole would be winning and becoming the new NXT champion, defeating Johnny Gargano. If this happens, then that opens up Gargano for a full-time move to the main roster, which they already kind of teased earlier this year, about a month or so ago. Also, this would mean that the Velveteen Dream would be retaining his title over Matt Riddle. So NXT TakeOver on April 5th. It's going to be interesting to see if this does happen. Like I stated, these are things that are being advertised. And with NXT, a lot of time by now, 2 weeks out, not even 2 weeks out, less than 2 weeks out, they usually already have the show booked. And Triple H doesn't like to change plans last minute like Vince McMahon does. Excuse me. Usually once they come up with their plan and they've got everything booked, NXT doesn't change. So with this being advertised before TakeOver even takes place, this advertising came out last week, actually. With this being the case, maybe this is true. Maybe this is what's going to happen. Now, I'm not saying this advertising is 100% factual. Or not that. Let me rephrase that. I'm not saying this advertising is 100% spoiler as far as this is telling us who's going to win. Maybe something was miscommunicated. Maybe something was stated incorrectly. We don't know, but it is very interesting, and I wanted to bring this to light just to let you guys know that this is possibly what could happen at NXT TakeOver. We could be seeing Adam Cole become the new NXT champion, which, like I said, would lead way for Gargano to possibly come to the main roster if that is still the plan. And Adam Cole, no, that Velveteen Dream could be successfully defending his NXT championship against Matt Riddle. Now, speaking of WrestleMania weekend, we know a lot of you are probably going to WrestleMania weekend. Maybe not for WrestleMania. Maybe you're going just for TakeOver. Maybe you're going just for WrestleCon. Maybe you're going just for G1 Supercard. And we wanted to help you out a little bit by letting you know what the weather is actually going to be like. Yes, I said the weather. We're going to go down the weather for East Rutherford in New Jersey, where WrestleMania is taking place. Brooklyn, New York, where a lot of events are taking place at the Barclays Center, as well as WrestleMania AXXESS, and New York City itself, where they're doing G1 Supercard. First off, we do have Brooklyn, New York's weather, because that's where a lot of the stuff is taking place, WWE-wise. So as we look at the weather, the 6-day forecast over the days that events are going to be running, on Thursday, April 4th, there's a 10% chance of rain. It's going to be partly cloudy with a high of 57 and a low of 46. On Friday, April 5th, it's going to be mostly cloudy with a 10% chance of rain again, high of 58, low of 48. And on Friday, that's the day of NXT TakeOver. On Saturday, April 6th, that's the day we're getting the WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony. It's also partly cloudy, but with a 20% chance of rain, high of 56, low of 40. Sunday, April 7th, there is going to be a morning session of AXXESS where they're going to be doing those Battle Royals. No real big shows in Brooklyn that day. It's a partly cloudy day, 20% chance of rain, high of 52, low of 42. On Monday, April 8th, they're holding WrestleMania. They're holding Raw in Brooklyn. 20% chance of rain, mostly sunny, with a high of 53 and a low of 45. And finally, rounding out the week in Brooklyn, Tuesday, April 9th for SmackDown. AM showers, 40% chance of rain, 57 degrees high, 45 degree low. Now with that, as we move on to New York City. New York City on Thursday, April 4th, partly cloudy with a 10% chance of rain, high of 59, low of 47. On Friday, April 5th, mostly cloudy with a 10% chance of rain, high of 61, low of 46. On Saturday, April 6th, the night of Ring of Honor and New Japan Pro Wrestling's G1 Supercard. Partly cloudy with a 20% chance of rain, high of 58, low of 41. On Sunday, April 7th, it's also partly cloudy with a 20% chance of rain, high of 53 and a low of 43. On Monday, April 8th, it's mostly sunny with a 20% chance of rain, a high of 55 and a low of 46. And finally, rounding out the week in New York City, Tuesday, April 9th, AM showers with a 40% chance of rain, a high of 59 and a low of 46. And finally, in MetLife Stadium, East Rutherford, New Jersey. On Thursday, April 4th, it's going to be partly cloudy with a 10% chance of rain, a high of 59 and a low of 45. On Friday, April 5th, it's going to be partly cloudy again with a 10% chance of rain, a high of 62 and a low of 44. On April 6th, Saturday, April 6th, it's going to be partly cloudy with a 20% chance of rain, a high of 57 and a low of 39. And on Sunday, April 7th, WrestleMania Sunday, there is a 20% chance of rain. It's going to be partly cloudy, a high of 54 and a low of 40. So you may want to bring your jacket to this outdoor venue at MetLife Stadium. Then rounding it out, we've got Monday, April 8th, which you shouldn't be in New Jersey anymore, but 20% chance of rain, mostly sunny, 56 high, a 44 low, and it's also going to rain on Tuesday, April 9th. AM showers with a 40% chance of rain, high of 60, and a low of 44. And with that, that is the projected forecast for all three locations that holding major events this weekend: New York City, Brooklyn, New York, and East Rutherford, New Jersey. All this weather does come courtesy of the weather.com website. But with that, we do want to bring something up from yesterday. We kind of closed the show out a little bit with a teased tweet from Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss teased her fans. Excuse me. It didn't happen. Okay, cool. I forgot to turn off my Amazon Echo, and I said Alexa by accident. So Alexa Bliss teased her fans with possibly dyeing her hair. Now, what she was actually doing was adding extensions to her hair, but she made a lot of people think she was going a dark color. And really, she didn't do much different except for she took the pink out. Alexa Bliss did change up her hair just slightly. All she really did was add some more, I guess you say, blonde to the hair. I thought I'd give you a quick little update on that one, as we did touch on that slightly yesterday. But before we go, we got a great deal for you guys. Deal of WrestleMania weekend. It's a huge deal as far as how you guys can save some money on some pro wrestling merch. Pro Wrestling Tees will be holding a sale next weekend. Pro Wrestling Tees is running their annual Mania weekend sale starting on Wednesday at 12 p.m. and concluding on Monday at 12 p.m. This sale will give you 20% off all stores on the site, but if you're shopping on the New Japan Pro Wrestling store on Pro Wrestling Tees, you'll actually get 30% off when you do use code MANIA in your checkout. Also, on top of the 20 or 30%, customers can get free U.S. shipping if you spend over $150. We, here at Pro Wrestling Unlimited, do also have a Pro Wrestling Tees store. We've got a couple of t-shirts up there, so if you do want to check that out, all stores are 20% off, but the New Japan Pro Wrestling store is actually giving 30% off. I think that's a really, really cool deal that they're doing. If you guys do want to pick up some merch, If you do want to get something maybe before Mania, I don't know if it'll get to you in time, but that is what they are doing next week for their annual WrestleMania sale. With that, guys, we're going to wrap up this edition of PWU Daily. I want to thank everybody who watched today live or watched later on youtube.com/PWU Unlimited. We want to thank our sponsors of the week, Insight Editions, from whom you can pick up either WWE's new cookbook or the WWE Pop Quiz Trivia Deck. Make sure you hit that notification bell so you're notified when we do post new videos or when we do go live. And I know sometimes YouTube doesn't want to send out notifications. So if for some reason you're not getting notifications from us, make sure you're following us on Twitter @PW Unlimited or on Facebook, facebook.com/Pro Wrestling ULTD, because we do post there whenever we do go live or we do post new videos. So you should get notifications there if YouTube isn't working out for you. With that, we'll see you again tomorrow for PWU Daily, our weekly Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. roughly weekly news show for you guys right here on the Pro Wrestling Unlimited YouTube channel. Have a great day, guys.